Summer 15 release notes. We're very excited to be here today and present this to our clients and colleagues in the Salesforce world. Hey, my name is Calder Justice, and I'm part of the solutions team here at EnablePath. And my friend and colleague, Brandon Ward, will be walking you through the webinar today. Please note that this webinar will be recorded for those who were not able to make it, and we will post it on the web as soon as we can after this webinar. Without any further ado, I will turn this over to Brandon, and he will walk us through the webinar. Take it away, Brandon.
Hey, well, thank you, Calder. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone. We thank you for your time today as we go over the highlights of the Summer 15 Salesforce release. Before we get into the details of the release, I'd like to take just a moment and talk a little bit about EnablePath. As some in our audience knows, EnablePath is a Salesforce.com Platinum partner with hundreds of certified architects and consultants, a long list of successful engagements and happy customers, and 4,000 strong global employee presence. EnablePath has focused experience in many vertical markets, including healthcare, manufacturing, financial services, media and advertising, real estate and construction, high technology, and logistics and shipping. Even if your company doesn't fit into one of these categories, there's a good chance that EnablePath has a team that can help you with your Salesforce project. So please feel free to contact your Burlesoft or EnablePath sales rep. We'd love to talk with you about your Salesforce needs. Lens is a powerful analysis tool brought to you by the EnablePath solutions team. This tool provides deep insights into the current state of any size Salesforce org. Installed and run by the experienced EnablePath consultants, Lens offers deep insights into the state of your overall Salesforce health, providing visibility through a summary report card and detailed analysis of every field and process. Okay. Let's talk about the agenda for today's call. In today's webinar, we'll cover the most interesting features of the Summer 15 release. Though honestly, identifying the most interesting features in any Salesforce release is always a tough call. The information here was gleaned from the release notes preview, which may change from the non-preview version, though probably not very significantly. The Summer 15 release window is roughly May 22nd to June 13th, depending on your Salesforce instance. And hey, Calder, if I could make a suggestion to the audience real fast. I'd just like to suggest as we buzz through the slides today that if anything sounds interesting or there's a question, please make a note of that. And make a note of things that you think may apply to your organization, and then later look up those details in the release notes. Salesforce does have comprehensive release notes posted on their site with detailed explanation and information. We'll cover any audience questions you may have at the end of the presentation. And of course, finally, as with many Salesforce-oriented presentations, there's a disclaimer we'd like to read. Any unrelated services or features referenced in this or other press releases or public statements that are not currently available may not be delivered on time or at all. Customers who purchase Salesforce services should make their purchase decisions based upon the features that are currently available. Okay, well, so let's talk about Summer 15. The Summer 15 release includes hundreds of enhancements. So here we'll try to identify and break these down into categories or themes. First and foremost, we see Salesforce continuing to make significant strides and investments in their mobile capabilities. For the Salesforce One app, Summer 15 is primarily focused on improving your sales reps' mobile experience via performance and trust improvements. There are other goodies for your users too, like streamlining their workflow with a rich text note-taking tool, or growing the revenue pipeline by converting qualified leads to contacts, complete with the ability to create new accounts as part of the process. Datacom helps businesses deliver leading business data for your sales team with new prospecting insights. Datacom is the solution for delivering leading business data inside Salesforce. This allows you to get the most up-to-date information gleaned from a variety of sources across the internet and publicly available information, as well as proprietary information stores. Data.com really helps your sales reps do the most with their contacts, leads, and accounts. Under development, the Force.com platform allows you to develop new applications and integrations to help your org or to help you position for resale your development to other organizations. And generally, some other key themes around Salesforce. Overall, we see a lot of things making setup and data easier, and greater focus on data quality and some improvements there. There's a new setup assistant. This makes it easier really than ever before to help set up a new Salesforce org. There's also enhancements to the data import tools. For instance, you can now use the Apex data loader from a Mac. Pretty cool stuff. And really, honestly, the release notes themselves have gotten better. It's easier than ever before to find information in those documents. So first, we'll look at some general enhancements to Salesforce before we dig into some detailed themes. And just a quick note, you may notice or hear me skipping a few bullet points as we walk through the presentation. We'll usually cover those in later slides, but of course the presentation will be available for download later. So on the general enhancement side, there's a setup assistant for newly activated organizations. The setup assistant allows you to set up a new Salesforce org without consulting an implementation partner. So it's sort of a wizard to set up new Salesforce orgs. The data loader for Mac, we touched on this just a moment ago. The Apex data loader is an easy-to-use, graphically based tool that allows you to import, export, update, and my personal favorite, upsert data into Salesforce. This is now available for the Mac platform as well as Windows. So if you have CSV data that you need to insert into Salesforce for an update or other mass action, you can now do that from a Mac. A couple other things, supported browsers. Salesforce, as we all know, has great support for modern browsers, and they strive to stay on top of the latest enhancements, but there are some changes. Most notably, if you're running Internet Explorer 7 or 8, support for those browsers is ending. This may affect maybe larger organizations that run older versions of Internet Explorer. If you have any questions about which version of Explorer you're running, please contact your IT department and inform the right stakeholders in your business that support for IE7 and IE8 is coming to an end. Next, we'll talk about critical updates. Critical updates are changes that may affect your existing customizations within Salesforce. Just a high level about critical updates. Each one has an opt-in period and an auto-activation date. During the opt-in period, you can activate the critical update, turn it on and off, and see what changes or impacts it has in your Salesforce system. Eventually, the critical update will be activated by the auto-activation date. So during the opt-in period, that's really your chance to test. We like to make the recommendation that you opt into the critical updates in a refreshed sandbox environment, so you can test to see if there are any changes to your customizations that are impacted by the critical updates. Once you figure out if there are changes that are impacted, you can perform the quality assurance and change activities that are needed to make your org aligned with the new update, and then push those over to production so that there would be a seamless experience when the critical update does deploy in that production environment. So a few details around critical updates in Summer 15. The first one is called Serve Static Resources from the Visualforce domain. This is actually a holdover from the Winter 15 release, but it got pushed out. Its auto-activation date has changed to the Summer 15 release. The next critical update we'd like to highlight is called Page Reference, Get Content, and Get Content as PDF. Certainly a mouthful, but this critical update really changes the way calls are made to the page reference methods, Get Content and Get Content as PDF. And it really handles some semantics of the transactions for calling a Visualforce page. A page reference is a reference to an instantiation of a Visualforce page. The Get Content and Get Content as PDF instance methods return the content of a rendered page as HTML and PDF respectively. The end result here is with this update, calls made to these methods behave as callouts, and the calls are tracked against the limits of the calling transaction. This is really a performance-related enhancement and one that we're glad to see Salesforce make. Finally, set up enhanced goals. If any organization is using work.com, you will automatically be upgraded to enhanced goals on Friday, August 21st. You can choose to upgrade as soon as the release is available to use for your org, and give yourself more time to migrate your goals and get used to the new goal customizations. Really, again, just to underscore, with each of these critical updates, you want to make sure that your org is tested and updated in time. Details about critical updates can be found under Setup, Critical Updates. Analytics Cloud is a recent addition to provide enterprise business intelligence within the Salesforce platform, and some exciting things going on here within the Analytics Cloud in Summer 15. For all you early adopters out there, maybe one of the most exciting things here is Apple Watch support. You can also check Salesforce on your Apple Watch now. So very interesting stuff. Another highlight here called multiple matches. This allows you to control the augment transformations behavior in a new way when it encounters multiple matches. Previously, if Analytics Cloud had matched multiple rows, it returned results from all of these matched rows. Now the augment transformation can return results from one of the matched rows, which is the new default behavior, or from all matched rows. So this has to do with which data is selected and displayed within Analytics Cloud. There's an enhancement for grouping dates. You can now group or filter by fiscal date and date ranges. There's a group button. You can use this. Click on the group button, and then click a fiscal date option. Some examples include fiscal year, fiscal quarter, and fiscal year quarter. Once a group is selected, the lens filters your data so that only the selected range appears. Another one we'd like to call attention to, link from dashboard tables and charts. You've presented your data in a lens or a dashboard, and now you want more detail. Your team can create custom links from tables and charts in Analytics Cloud lenses and dashboards to corresponding records in Salesforce, such as accounts, cases, or opportunities, as well as external websites. In pilot status is SQL enhancements. SQL is a new query language, Salesforce Analytics query language. And SQL can be used to do ad hoc analysis of data that's stored in data sets. So I'd like to move along right now and talk about mobile, a very exciting topic area of interest. A few key enhancements in mobile. We saw earlier Apple Watch integration. I'd also like to mention that Chatter Mobile for Android is up and running and enhanced. Mobile dashboards for iPad. If you are running the app, mobile app dashboards for iPad from the App Exchange, this app is no longer supported. If it gets deleted from your users' iPads, it will no longer be able to be reinstalled. Salesforce recommends that you move to the Salesforce One app. So again, mobile dashboards for iPad is on the sunset path. There are also enhancements to Salesforce One reporting. Really, this comes around REST API enhancements that allow you to delete dashboards, save, clone, and delete reports, and get access to new report properties from mobile devices. There are also some enhancements around Apex to enable you to get and set more report properties. These enhancements don't apply to dashboards or reports in the Salesforce One mobile app, so these would be within the browser versions only. Okay, finally, we talked a little bit about support for Apple Watch. When Salesforce Analytics for iOS is viewed at a glance, the last open dashboard or lens is shown on Apple Watch. So if you're looking at your Apple Watch, you'll see the most recent dashboard. If there's no number widget present in the dashboard, then no number is shown. We'll see some more exciting things for sure to come with Apple Watch integration in the Salesforce platform here in the next few release cycles. Okay, so we'll talk about communities here. Communities brings, is witnessing several key enhancements during Summer 15, including improved community management tools, the ability to edit conversations, associating records to groups, development for self-service templates with a brand new case feed that's built on Chatter, and a lot more. These improvements are available for Enterprise, Performance, Unlimited, and Developer editions. So if you're running Professional or Group edition, for instance, you will not see these improvements. So we'll talk about a couple tools here. First of all, Community Builder is a tool that allows you to publish directly from the sandbox if you're using one of 3 specific Salesforce templates. Those templates are called Koa, Kokua, and Napili. And again, if you're using these 3 templates, you can publish in Sandbox. So you can actually test that community with one of these 3 templates in Sandbox before you're publishing in production. Previously, those would be published directly in production. So a little bit about community self-service templates. There's some changes around here with community templates in Summer 15. Users can attach community files to a question and answer posts and see a helpful case list view. The new community case feed lets community users and support agents view all case interactions in a unified chatter-based design. So really Salesforce orienting here to a feed-based layout. We see this in other options as well throughout the system. Finally, we talked about that Napili template. The Napili template now allows you to highlight topic experts and allow users to make their profiles public. Some really cool changes around reporting in communities. You can now actually grant partner and customer community members permission to create and edit reports. So again, sort of building out communities, right? Customers and partners now have access to certain data that you allow them to see, presented in a certain way. Really exciting now that you can push some self-service to them. If I'm a customer and I want to see my most recent orders, for instance, I've got the right permissions enabled, which is now possible with Summer 15. I can create a report that shows my order history. There are other changes in communities too. There's some changes to stuff that's provided on the App Exchange. There's a communities dashboard package, for instance, on the App Exchange that's seen some updates. And there's some interesting. There's an interesting update to a license dashboard and report filters for users. So a couple other things going on with communities. Again, we recommend that if you are running communities and you want to know a little bit deeper information about those enhancements, please consult the Salesforce official release notes. What we'd like to do now is move over to Sales Cloud. There's many improvements and enhancements around the Sales Cloud in Summer 15, and so let's talk about those that we think will be most interesting to our customers. First of all, duplicate management is now available for custom applications. Duplicate management allows you to guard against the creation of duplicates in Salesforce, and previously it was available on the account and contact record. Now duplicate management is available in custom applications. So duplicate management does run on the Datacom engine, but you do not need a Datacom license to run duplicate management. What happens if you specify criteria for a dupe? If a user attempts to save a record and a likely dupe is found, there will be an error message that's generated. Another improvement for the Sales Cloud is the ability to use Gmail to launch campaigns. There's a plugin called Engage for Gmail. With this Engage for Gmail plugin, sales reps can launch an Engage campaign directly from Gmail with a single click. The Engage plugin would allow you to log every email from Gmail against its respective prospect or lead record in Salesforce. So we're seeing some enhancements here around Gmail integration, specifically with the Engage product. Salesforce Console for Sales is a way for sales reps to be very productive without having to load new screens. User interface enhancements here. And the console in Summer 15 gives sales reps access to easy sales intelligence. For instance, use a dashboard to get contextual data with fewer clicks and less scrolling. So I can view multiple panes of information on my page at once without having to click over to a new tab. So if your users have issues or concerns about loading many pages, you may look into the Salesforce Console for Sales, which would allow them to see multiple tabs consolidated in a single page. Connect for Outlook. This is another of those sunset announcements here. Salesforce has let us know that the old Connect for Outlook product is going away. In fact, specifically, it will be retired in winter 15. If you're running the old Connect for Outlook product, and you would know that because you'd have to sync items, and there's a very honestly a very kludgy little Windows interface. Difficult to use. If you're using that product, that's going to go away in Winter 15. And we recommend that you look into moving over to Salesforce for Outlook, a free plugin that's available via Setup, or third-party plugins for email such as Cirrus Insight if Salesforce for Outlook will not meet your needs. But again, the big announcement here is that Connect for Outlook is being retired in Winter 15. Finally, Email Connect is the latest email integration in Salesforce. It has features to sync your users' contacts and events between Exchange-based systems and Salesforce. It also allows you to create Salesforce contacts or view them and other sales-related records directly from Microsoft Outlook web app. So again, Email Connect, new email integration product, allows you to sync users, contacts, and events. Of course, requires an Exchange-based platform. If you're using the Outlook web app, you can actually view contact records from Salesforce directly within that Microsoft Outlook web app. Work.com continues to evolve to help managers and teams learn faster and perform more effectively. We'll go over a few enhancements here to Work.com. The first enhancement we announced are enhanced goals. These are generally available. Enhanced goals help your sales teams to precisely track goals and metrics related to their work. Really, the upshot here is that the new goals under, when using enhanced goals, appear faster and are customizable like other objects. So Salesforce is moving everyone to enhanced goals. We talked about that. Cutover date being August. You can see it here highlighted in the Goals tab. Your teams can also manage their goals on the go using Salesforce One. So there's integration to Salesforce One here as well. Again, these are generally available in Summer 15. So there's a pilot feature called Enhanced Feedback. So Work.com has a feature called Feedback, which allows managers to give feedback to workers. Enhanced Feedback is now in pilot status. And really the upshot here is that your sales teams can now manage feedback offers, which is an offer for feedback, feedback requests, which is when I request feedback, and feedback related to performance summaries all in one place. So an easier way to manage the requests, the offers, and the actual feedback related to your performance in one place. Finally, there's another enhanced feature the Salesforce is piloting. This is enhanced performance summaries. Enhanced feedback and enhanced performance summaries are currently in pilot program. Again, this is the ability to summarize and view performance and feedback in a more consolidated place within Work.com, and also giving you as customers the ability to customize your Work.com experience a bit more than you had the option to previously. We'll talk about Data.com next. If you don't know much about Data.com, Data.com does deliver leading business data for your sales teams. Data.com is, in fact, the best or category-leading solution for delivering leading business data inside Salesforce. Get the most up-to-date business data for your contacts, leads, and accounts with Data.com. A couple enhancements for Data.com. The first is prospecting insights for accounts. We can see an example here on the page. If your salespeople are spending a lot of time researching firm data for your prospects or clients, for instance, revenue, number of employees, revenue growth, employee growth, these sort of attributes, and you're running Data.com, you've actually got a way to make their day more productive. Data.com Prospecting Insights gives your reps access to existing and new fields within Data.com, and this is really a result of combining D&B company details as well as industry intelligence into one page. So you'll see here with Prospecting Insights, we can see annual revenue growth and employee growth year over year. This is an example of what Salesforce terms firmographic information that is now visible in Data.com. So this really helps your sales reps connect with customers. I see that in the last year, for instance, you've had 11.5% year over year revenue growth, but your employee growth is up 29%. Let's talk about what that means in context of your business. Helps salespeople connect with clients and and have richer conversations earlier in the sales cycle. Some technical enhancements. There are new fields available from the Datacomm Search API. Again, we talked about firmographic data, and these fields are now available in the Search API. These fields include information we talked about, revenue growth, employee growth. There's also Fortune 1000 rank, S&P 500 presence, the size of the firm in its location, and we mentioned also employee and sales growth. The note about licensing, these new fields are included with the Data.com Prospect or Corporate and Premium license. So again, these features require the Data.com Prospect or Corporate or Premium license. We're seeing some exciting enhancements around Service Cloud, some significant enhancements, including one real game changer, we believe, and this is really exciting stuff. In fact, this game changer that we'll see in just a moment, EnablePath demoed this call integration technology at our booth in Dreamforce in 2014 with our partner CN2, who works with us on our augmented reality projects. So we talked about this game changer. Well, this is what Salesforce is terming SOS video chat and screen sharing, which is currently in beta status. SOS video chat and screen sharing allows you to really connect with your customers in an entirely new way. And again, native to the Service Cloud. With SOS, you can now add a help button to your native iOS or Android mobile app, and this will allow your customers to connect with your agents over a one-way video and two-way audio chat. So again, running on Service Cloud, your customers, if you enable this feature for them, will have the ability via a native iOS or Android app to press a help button and connect with a chat, with an audio chat, a bidirectional audio chat with your service agents, and a one-way video chat where you can actually see your customer. So we think at EnablePath, we think this is a very significant game changer. This allows you to, again, we talk about richness of conversations, meaningfulness of interactions, a lot of value here that's potentially available to be unlocked with SOS Video Chat. The ability to connect with those customers and give them a richer, more favorable service experience. The Radian 6 social customer service product is also seeing some enhancements around integration with Service Cloud. Your agents can now engage with your customers by responding to cases created from Twitter or Facebook. So this is really pretty cool for the admins on the call and the webinar today. Administrators can customize how the inbound social content is processed using an Apex class, and you can also configure who within your org has the permission to respond using social accounts. So on the theme of social engagement, inbound cases, the ability to respond with a social presence, and again, fully configurable for the administrators. Case assignment rules. There have been some changes here to allow you to enable case assignment rules more intuitively. The details are you can now separately choose whether to force case assignment rules and allow end users to turn the rule on or off when creating a case, that little checkbox that says assign using active assignment rules, or you can run the case assignment rule automatically. So before these options were independent of each other, and now you give the end user the ability to turn that assignment rule on or off when editing a record. So there's a new feature called Omnichannel that's in beta. Omnichannel allows you to assign work to agents in real time from the Salesforce console, and while a related feature called routing allows you to flexibly route and balance case and workload for your agents based on business drivers and business logic. One of those drivers might be agent availability or agent capacity. So you've got the ability to use some business driving, some business logic to assign cases to agents in addition to that assignment rule. So really building out robust, agent workload management and work balancing capabilities. There's a feature called Org Sync. Organization Sync allows you to set up a secondary synced Salesforce org that users can access when your primary org, on the rare occasion that it is down, if your primary org is down, you can access a secondary org via org sync. Finally, case feed. There's improvements around the case feed. If you're using the case feed layout, you'll notice, again, we talked about Salesforce moving to a feed-based layout. Case feed allows your support agents to have a streamlined way to create, manage, and view cases. It includes publishers, which allow agents to create case notes. Also allows them to log calls, change the status of cases, and communicate with customers in a chatter-like feed. So again, case feed, some enhancements there around the user interface and the agent's experience and interaction within the Service Cloud environment. So we'll talk about chatter. Summer 15 has seen some great improvements in chatter. There's some reporting enhancements to chatter feeds, files, and group functionality, as well as email. And we'll get into those here forthrightly. Some enhancements to chatter feed. Users can now edit their own feed posts. Record owners can edit any post on records that they own. So if I'm posting to Jesse Jones' record, I can now edit my own comment. Jesse has the ability to edit any comments within that feed. Administrators, of course, can edit posts and grant editing rights to specific individuals. Salesforce, in Summer 15, Salesforce Files allows you to share and sync any file in Salesforce. It also increases some limits, supports folders, and provides deeper integration with external files and data sources. So we're seeing tighter integration between the files functionality and then obviously the ability to work with files in a chatter environment. There's some changes in groups. In Summer 15, you can choose which custom object records users can add to groups. Previously, all custom object records were allowed to be added to groups. So really, this gives you more control over the type and number of custom object records that users can add to groups moving forward. There's a setting called Allow in Chatter Groups. This is an option on the custom object detail page under optional features. So if you want to look more into enabling this, you would go to your custom object detail and look for the feature called Allow in Chatter Groups. Finally, the last chatter improvement we'd like to call attention to today around email notifications. So there's enhancements to the Unified User Digest currently in beta to give you an improved, more mobile-friendly digest. You enable this, again, it's in beta under Customized Chatter Email Settings, and select Enable User Digest Beta. Again, this Unified User Digest Beta enhancement is designed to give a more friendly mobile experience when I get my Chatter Digest on my mobile device. So also dovetailing well within those mobile platform enhancements that Salesforce is making as well with Summer 15. Let's talk about some features related to deployment. There's some improvements to the Sandbox copy engine. There's some license matching capabilities that we have not seen previously, and some other enhancements to deployment. We'll talk about these here momentarily. And first, we'll start with the ability to match production licenses to Sandbox without a refresh. This is pretty cool. Previously, if you've refreshed, if you've worked in a Sandbox and you've added new users in production and you haven't refreshed that Sandbox, if you try to give that new user who's been added after the Sandbox was refreshed a license, you'll know that their license was not matched in Sandbox. Salesforce now allows you to match the production licenses from production to Sandbox without having to run a refresh. So I can add new and incremental users and then sync them over the licenses over into Sandbox. So it makes it easier for those users to have access to Sandbox. There's also improvements to the Sandbox copy engine that's now generally available. Salesforce has essentially rebuilt the Sandbox copy engine to help optimize performance, scalability, and customer success. This new engine impacts full sandboxes as they're created and existing full sandboxes as they're refreshed. So again, new Sandbox copy engine. If you're creating a new sandbox, you'll automatically be upgraded to this functionality. If you're running an existing full sandbox, you'll need to refresh your sandbox to experience the new sandbox copy engine. A couple of other features to help those who are responsible for deployments. You can now choose which tests to run in a deployment, as well as running local tests in a sandbox deployment. So again, you have the ability to specify how you're testing when you deploy, and then to evaluate the success of that deployment. There's some other enhancements around customizations. This section here we've termed customizations includes information on more general enhancements. These are features in terms of customizations that Salesforce has granted on the platform, which allow us and you to expand your Salesforce org in a variety of ways. Customization features also include tools to administer and secure your Salesforce org. So first, the first customization enhancement we'd like to draw attention to is what's called Big Objects. Big Objects is a new capability to Salesforce. It allows you to store and manage your data at scale on the Salesforce platform. This feature helps you engage directly with customers by preserving all your historical customer event data. There's also another pilot feature called Data Pipelines. Salesforce is continuing the pilot availability of data pipelines. Data pipelines is a new capability that allows you to leverage all your customer data for intelligence and actionable information. Some enhancements since the initial pilot launch. There's now error logging to help you understand when your data pipeline jobs do not execute. Anyone who's used the Process Builder knows that this is a very exciting feature within Salesforce to help automate and enable business processes quickly and effectively. Salesforce has expanded your options for automating these processes with improved support in the Process Builder for formulas, some new formula functions, and more options for updating fields. There are also enhancements around the usability of multi-select pick lists within Process Builder, and you can now delete a process without having to wait 12 hours. Previously, if you wanted to delete a process, you'd have to wait 12 hours before you could do that. There's also user interface updates within Process Builder to make it easier to build processes and see versions, as well as reference fields. We mentioned that 12-hour wait to delete a process with Process Builder. Visual Workflow, another feature in Salesforce that allows for process automation. Visual Workflow is also seeing the elimination of that 12-hour wait to delete a flow. So you now have the ability to delete a deactivated flow without having to wait 12 hours. There are also some updates here to flow fault emails. These are email alerts that go to a developer or administrator when a visual workflow fails to execute properly. So there's some, in terms of the email notifications, there's more detail in there to help somebody start that debugging process if there's an error with a visual workflow. Salesforce has also added updates to monitoring. Specifically, event monitoring and login forensics are available and allow you to have the ability to track user activities within your org. Salesforce also has two new pilot programs, Apex Limit Events and Data Leakage Detection. So again, when it comes to monitoring jobs, governing jobs, making sure that the right things happen, but not too many of them happen too quickly, which could trip limits and quotas. You've got more robust tools at your hands now to be able to monitor your jobs and your processes within Salesforce. Finally, improvements in cross-organization data sharing. The data sharing pilot program is not available for new organizations. It's available for existing orgs. This functionality has seen a couple of changes. Salesforce is versioning this out. The functionality is now superseded by the Salesforce adapter for Lightning Connect. If you're already using cross-organization data sharing, you'll continue to have access to it, but Salesforce is encouraging you to transition to Lightning Connect. So again, cross-organization data sharing was a pilot program. Had support. There's still support for it technically, but Salesforce is gently, and by gently I mean strongly, nudging us to move to the Salesforce adapter for Lightning Connect. We'll talk about some enhancements around security and identity, which is a very important topic in the Salesforce world. It's now possible to create single sign-on settings from a file or a URL. You can now choose the logout page for Salesforce users. So if you want to redirect users upon logout to another page, a firm website, an intranet site, for instance, you can now do that. There are quicker updates on my domain name propagation. So basically here, the time required to check the DNS propagation status of a new domain has decreased from 10 minutes to 30 seconds. So very, very, very powerful tools there to allow you to sort of check that DNS propagation without being able to get up and go get a cup of coffee. Salesforce is making everything quicker and more instantaneous. You're also able to test your My Domain login page. So if you set up a new domain, you can test the login page settings without deploying the domain to all users. So again, more control over the ability to test My Domain within Salesforce. A few comments on custom development in the Force.com platform as we get ready to close out and move to questions. Lightning components. The Lightning component framework powers Salesforce One. This framework is used to build mobile apps and pages. You can use out-of-the-box components, or you can create your own components. Salesforce does give you a set of assets out of the box in terms of components. But if you want to use JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Apex, or other web-enabled code, you're able to do that. There's some improvements in the developer console, allowing developers to have to more easily and precisely manage their code. Some of these improvements include the ability to work with more precise numbers and locations. So this is actually a granularity improvement in the query editor within the developer console. Developers also have the ability to view query plan notes, which means that they can now view notes on their query plans within the developer console's query editor. Salesforce will display all notes that are available for the highest ranked query plan. If you're using Visualforce, some updates to the Visualforce language and feature set. Really, these improvements make app development easier. Enhancements in this area in this release in summer 15 are focused on improving the experience of developing apps that combine Visualforce, JavaScript, and location-based data. The release notes, the summer 15 release notes from Salesforce explain these new features and include concise code samples showing how these can be used. So if you're interested to test drive some of this in, say, a developer environment, consult those release notes under Force.com. You'll get some code samples, and you can see how some of these Visualforce enhancements render out and perform. Some improvements to Apex code, of course. Salesforce is always building up their core assets on the platform, as well as the Apex language. The enhancements for Apex in summer 15 allow you to rely on the debug logs order of precedence, as well as use location and distance bind variables. These enhancements also include code coverage changes and new classes and methods. If you're an ISV partner developing apps for the App Exchange, you can request metadata API access to professional edition orgs for your certified apps. So now you got the ability to access that metadata for professional edition, or we call it PE. After this metadata API access is granted, your app can make metadata API calls to your customers' professional edition organizations. So that wraps up our presentation on the Salesforce features for summer 15. As we close out, I'd like to let the audience know and remind them, Calder, that EnablePath does offer ongoing support. So if your company has needs for support around reviewing your business processes, your Salesforce.com configuration, optics and analytics with reports and dashboards, if you need integration, data integration between foreign systems and Salesforce, if you want to bring that ERP data into Salesforce, or you have a data migration project or other custom development, training, or just general best practices questions, we're here to help. EnablePath offers simple and flexible support options, and these really complement Salesforce's Premier Success if you're using that. For more information, please contact our own Pam Bryan. Her number is 770-995-6691. You can also email Pam directly at pbryan@enablepath.com. So Calder, that concludes our presentation. I'd like to remind the audience that release notes can be found on the Salesforce website or through the help link once you're logged in. And the release schedule is always available at trust.salesforce.com. Calder, right now I'd like to take it back to you and see if we have time, if any questions have come across, if we can answer those.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brandon. Unfortunately, we're out of time to answer the questions today. We thank everyone for joining, and we will be posting this on the web soon. Have a great day, and thanks again for dialing in.